Okay, looks like we got a set of Cutco knives in. And this one's got a big broken tip, so we're going to have to fix that. That is going to take a little bit of grinding to get that down there, but we'll do that. Looks like someone tried to sharpen it here with something that they tore into that bevel on there. Made that look not so pretty. So we are going to get started with, we got to start grinding this down, and we want to grind it down kind of going kind of angle there. See how much metal we can preserve, but it's going to be like that. So you always want to go spine down to preserve as much blade side as we can. No big deal. This is a good bit of grinding, so we're going to want some water to cool our 36. Is this a 36? I think that's a 50, but we could go with a 36 grit belt on this one. That certainly wouldn't hurt. I am trying to get used to these meta glasses. I have to drop them down a little bit when I'm filming because I tend to be looking too high. A lot of times I'm cutting the video out. So you guys are missing some great videos because I'm still trying to learn how to get these things placed just right. Alright, so let's get started here. And I can put water right on this. It's not going to hurt it. You can do it on the knife too. When you got a lot of grinding to do, it's fine. You do want to keep it cool. Give it plenty of breaks. My belt's shifting a little bit, so I'm going to adjust that. There we go. Getting close to time to replace this belt. I've had it for a long time going on here. And I just got some new ones in. The other thing that works really well for this are CBN wheels, especially on low speed grinders. That's the other way I will do this sometimes. When I'm trying to get a nice arch in there too, sometimes pushing into a slack belt portion will work really well for getting that arch that you might want to add back in after you've thinned the knife down. We're getting close. Like I said, just don't rush it. Take your time. Let the belt do most of the work. And you'll see in no time. We have a pretty nice shape there. Not quite perfect. We're getting it. We're going to get it close to perfect, yeah. Okay, I am happy with my shape there. Let's take a look. arch that. So we will sand all this down with some other belts. We will thin it. You can see it's a little thick up here, and we will thin that back out. I'm gonna fix all this too. Actually, I think I'm gonna do, should I do a little bit of thinning? Yeah. You know what? Let's pull this off. So this is our it's a 120 Cubitron. Okay, hopefully you can see this well. That looks good. Yeah, fix this tip a little here. Okay, so I'm hitting this rough area right here. So this is really rough because it was 50 grit. So now we're going to bring it up to 120 just by running it right on the top here. But even that's still going to be too rough. But it's a start. But it's actually grabbing. I'm feeling it grab here. So I'm just going to smooth it a little bit, make it easier to work with. Yeah. So remember, these are pretty polished knives, so we're gonna have to take this up pretty high. It's nice and smooth now. I did that just so I could work with it, but we're gonna have to take this up pretty high to make that look nice and look seamless, you know, to make this match real well so we don't have a weird spot up here. And what I'm gonna do now, I wanna see if I could take some of this out and correct that. So before I finish sharpening, I'm gonna jump onto the radial disc here a little bit because I want to see if I can get that mark where someone tried to sharpen this out. I don't think a 220 is going to do it. I think it's a pretty deep mark. Yeah, it's pretty deep. You can see it's helping a lot. But I think to get that out, I'm gonna have to do some 80 radial disc. But you can see it's coming along pretty nice. But so I'm gonna clean up both sides of this. But I just know from doing these that that's an 80. It's just, it needs an 80. All right, so here's my 80. I'm going to grab... All right, so I'm going to try and start this at an 80 because that's a pretty deep mark in there. And as you can see, this wasn't seated tight enough. Sometimes you go through this with these things. They're not perfect when it comes to staying on all the time. Now, someone told me they had really good luck with heating one of those up, and then it never came off after that. I haven't tried that, but I'm thinking about it when I get stuff like that. Yeah, that's doing a nice job. And I'm not even concerned about getting every bit of it out. But I just want that to look better than it did. They clearly tried to sharpen that on something and made it look kind of ugly. Sometimes some Scotch-Brite too. I do have a couple different Scotch-Brites. I have a soft one and a hard one. These sometimes get the job done too, for getting some of those weird marks like that out. Yeah, I don't feel like that's doing much. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Depends on the aggressiveness of the Scotch-Brite. I think this one's less aggressive. But we'll try it just in case. Let's see. They're both gray, but they're from different companies and they actually perform a little different. Actually, this one's doing a little bit more. This one might be a little bit more coarse. Yeah, that one's working actually. That's great. Yeah, that's helping. Okay, back to my 80 again. Like I said, I'm not looking to get every bit of that out. I'm gonna go up in speed a bit. When you run it at a higher speed, it kind of stiffens up the abrasive. Now with these Cutcos, you got to be a little careful not to touch the mirrored areas. If you get into the mirrored area, you're going to put a weird scuff in there that you won't want to have to work to get out later, because it sucks. And the main thing with these is always keep moving. Alright, that's good enough. We're done with our 80. I'm going to throw my 400 back on. Hopefully it stays. Turn that speed down a bit. Alright, let's go back to our 250. Just to finish out the sequence here. Good. Now our 400. Now I can hit my spine. Remember, we ground that down, so we want to smooth and polish that some. In fact, I'm going to come back to the 250. Nice. And I'm just going to touch this side just to make them match up better. Good. Let's go on to the 1 micron, which is here's our 1 micron. And this will really make it shine. We'll take out the last little bit of some of those scratches. And like I said, we're not looking for utter perfection, but just to make it look better. If I really wanted to take it out, I could. It's just a matter of time. And, you know, I am not gonna sit here and spend, you know, way more time on a kitchen knife That eventually is going to have some scratches in it anyway. But since we are repairing this tip, and you know, we do want it to look nice. And that's good. Now I'm going to buff up that top. Now, here's one thing I love doing. One of my favorite knives to do the handles on are Cutcos. They really buff up knives. The hard, whatever type of plastic this is, just does really well buffing. You can make some ones that are quite old, that weren't well cared for, look pretty nice. Okay, regular plastic polish, and then we'll get back to our sharpening. Just for the handles. And the main thing with handles is keep moving. Let's not cut our filter over there for our downdraft table. We don't want to do that. Yeah, look how nice those are buffing up. And you can go right to the metal if you got some buffing to do. It's totally fine. Even though it's handle, it's such a high grit. It's just gonna put a little, might put a little grease or wax. They're more of a wax based. But it's not gonna hurt the, certainly not gonna hurt the mirrored part of the knife. Buffing that up a little bit. Okay, I'm feeling pretty good now about this knife. Feels good. Yeah, it's looking pretty nice, considering. There's a little crud in here. I want to get that out. Yeah, there we go. That's gone. You know, other than that spot where they tried to sharpen it and we made that look considerably better, this knife is on its way. Yeah, hey, why not? It's set for 17. Let's just finish up over here. And you see, one thing we could do, we could take that heel down a tiny bit. Yeah, I'm not loving this heel sticking up so much, so I'm just gonna take that down a little bit. Good enough. And same thing now, we'll just smooth it. That's looking good. Just gonna, yeah, that's better. Just a little too much is sticking out there. All right. 1A16 for a couple passes. We'll strop it, check it, and this repair will be done. good. Let's strop. All right, it's looking good. Just needs a good cleaning. Let's get this baby cleaned up. Give it a cut test, and I think it's gonna be getting a new lease on life. Let's see if this Cutco knife still wants to cut. Beautifully, look at that. Whoo. That is cutting just like a champion. Alrighty, this baby is good to go. All repaired, done, sharpened, new tip, polished up. It is ready to go back.